I am Kelly DeMarco. I am a climate coach. I'm also a partner to my husband who is dealing with cancer right now. And climate journey is really about figuring out how to navigate times like now amidst a climate crisis and figuring out kind of what's our part to do. And I'm talking about it right now because life does not seem like it's going to open up for me to like carve out this perfect time to address this. So I really hope to show you like how you can do climate action on the fly and in the midst of busy. Right now, all my family's sick. Well, actually, my 11-year-old is at school, but everybody else is sick, including my mom, who's a caregiver, who's helping us out. My husband's at dialysis. And, you know, I feel like in an ideal world, like everything stops so we can address climate change, so we can address the crisis at hand, so that we can make traction with it. But that's not the case. Like, things don't stop to give us time to deal with this. So, you know, I've been a proponent of figure it out. You know, we each have to figure it out. We each have to figure out what's our thing to do. And when I spoke about this a few weeks ago now, because it just is fit it in when I can, I spoke about the importance of connection. And I want to speak more on that topic because our connection to why it's important, why it matters for us to do climate work is huge. Because a lot of us are having to fit it in. Most of us, especially my generation, we didn't even come through school with opportunities to study things that would help us figure out how to mitigate climate change. It's sort of like when I was in high school, the Cold War was the big deal. When I was in college, the Cold War seemed to end, but and then the environmental crisis sort of appeared on the horizon. I know it's been there in the background all through the 70s and 80s, and for some people it was very, very obvious. Rachel Carson and others. For me, I was born in 1970. It really wasn't a thing until I hit the age of 19, 20. And when I look around and talk around, for a lot of people, it's kind of not been a huge thing. At least not something for them to prioritize and do something about. It's a problem for our government to fix, or a problem for the scientists to fix, a problem for the specialists to fix. And I really believe deeply that when we really tune into our care for and our dependency on the natural world around us, and that we are a part of this living, breathing system, we are Earth, that when we really make that connection, we'll start to understand that we have a role to play. And I think knowing your why is huge, because in the midst of busy, knowing your why, knowing why this matters to you, knowing why it matters to you to do something about it, gives you staying power. It helps you figure out how to prioritize it in when it seems like there's everything else to do but that. Climate change isn't banging on my door saying, come and fix me, address me, do something about me, but it's in the news, and it's in the patient populations that I serve, and it's in the places that I have lived at other points in my life. It's subtly all around me. It's subtly in the trees that are in my backyard. It's subtly in the landscape. It's definitely in the fluctuations in temperature and the heat rise. But those things feel a little bit elusive and like hard to grasp a hold of and say, okay, this directly affects me right now, so I'm going to do something about it. So I'm speaking of this because your connection to your why matters a whole lot. And then when you do have pockets of time that you've set aside to do something, and we'll be getting on, like, I'll be talking more about like what specifically, how to know like what's yours to do. It helps you prioritize it. It helps you say yes to it when you feel like a whole lot of other things are competing for your yes. So for me personally, like, I've figured out ways to dovetail climate action with my role as an occupational therapist, as a healthcare provider. I do it in different ways here in the state of Wisconsin, and also with occupational therapists across the United States. I attend meetings and help put together slide presentations. But all of those things were like, they didn't just happen. They were an extension of me really being intentional and looking at what are the hats that I wear and how can I kind of address this issue wearing those hats, because I think I can make a much bigger impact than if I just like start from scratch. So I guess my nudge this morning is to tune into your why more. Write about it, like paint about it, draw something, do a collage, go sit outside, look around you, tune into like future generations and what runaway climate change means for your children, your grandchildren. If you don't have kids, you don't intend to have kids or grandkids, then just future generations. Heck, just present generations in some other part of our world if it's not on your doorstep right now. Climate change is like calling us to a whole new level of compassion and understanding and resonance with like people all over the planet, and what they're going through. So if you're in a position where it's not like screaming at you and impacting you personally, feel the invitation that climate change is giving you to like tune in and connect with the needs of people who are living in places that are being personally affected by this. I don't know. Maybe this is like common sense to everybody. Maybe you're already doing it. Maybe I'm just speaking into the void. But I feel like for me personally, speaking up about it, talking about it in these moments where I feel like I'm short on time, I'm pulled in a lot of different directions. It helps me. And I am part of the whole, so I need to care for my own concern for this. And so speaking about it in this space, my YouTube channel is it's a good starting place, and I hope that you get something from it, and I hope to provide more very soon. All right, take care and have a wonderful Thursday.